My heart didn't grow 3 sizes today, but my Grinch collection sure did. You don't have to climb Mount Crumpet to make these super fun, easy to print Grinch decorations. I'll show you how next on Tina Tries. If you're a fan of the holiday classic or you just dislike the holiday season, I've got the decorations for you. All of the Grinchy files I'll be showcasing today can be found on Maker World. All of these prints used green, red, white, and black PLA. The only other material that you need for any of these builds is a little bit of super glue. As usual, I will link everything in the description below. Let's get to it. Here are the printed parts. All right, I am really excited about today's episode. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is my favorite holiday movie of all time. So let's get into these really fun prints. First up is this standing Grinch door corner. This file is by Deep South 3D Prints. This print features the Grinch in his full St. Nicholas suit. This one was printed on an H2D as it does require an AMS. This took just under 2 hours to print and it used 67 grams of filament. I did increase this file size to 125%. I have a little bit more clearance on my door corner than the original file had, so I wanted to make him just a little bit bigger. This one does not require any post-processing, which is super convenient. This is the right side of the door frame file, but there are also files for the left side if you want to put it on the other side of your door. I also chose the file that printed face down on the plate. I wanted him to be shiny and smooth on the front, so I went with that option. But there is also an option where it will print face up on the plate and he'll have a little bit of depth to him if you want to go that route as well. This one is such a fun, out of the way door decoration, which I really like. And it is super easy to put up. It is really sturdy. So all you have to do is set this right on the corner of the door frame and you are ready to rock. You don't have to put any adhesive on the back of this. It will stay in place as long as it's not on a door that you're going to be slamming on a regular basis. Because I couldn't decide which one I liked better, I also printed out this stunk door corner as well. This file is by Nympherial, and it was also printed on my H2D as it too requires an AMS. This one took about 4 hours to print and it used 95 grams of filament. I also increased the size on this one to about 120%, and I think that worked out really well. It fits on my door frame perfectly, and this print came out super crisp. I chose the file that printed with white eyes, but there is also a file with an option to print with red eyes if you prefer that look. And unlike the first door corner that I showed, this one prints with the face up on the plate, so there is some depth here to the print. That is also an option on the other one, but I decided to show both the in-depth print and the flat-faced print. A little bit of a different look on both, but they are equally awesome. This particular file prints for the right side of the door frame, but there is a separately uploaded file by Nympherial as well of this exact same thing, but it will sit on the left side of your door frame if you prefer to have it on that side. I do love this one though because stunk is iconic. Also, I think I'm gonna put this on the corner of my bathroom door just to be funny. Next up, I have this set of Grinch bookmarks. This file is by Maestra 3D Art, and these were also printed on an H2D because they do also require an AMS. These took about 3 hours to print and used 67 grams of filament. These ones also printed out face down on the plate. All 3 of them print at the same time, or you can choose to print whichever one is your favorite separately. It will still print face down. That gives the front of these a nice smooth texture, and they all printed in very high definition, so your picture is going to look very crisp when it's done. These are a little bit thick for your standard bookmark, so I think if you're going to try and use these in a paperback, you might have a little bit of a problem with them staying in the book, but they would be perfect for a hardcover. And because they're so thick, these will hold up really well. So these would be good for kids who tend to not be gentle with their things. Also, 2 of the bookmarks have these pre-punched holes in them, so you can add ribbons or little tassels or whatever you want on the end of the bookmarks. These would be great little presents or stocking stuffers for the Grinch lovers or book readers on your list. Next up is this really fun Grinch headband by XYO. This was printed on my H2D because it also requires an AMS. This took just under 2 hours to print and used 38 grams of filament. I did end up sizing this one up to 120% so that it fits on my big head. I did, however, have quite a bit of trouble printing this one. The first 2 times I tried to print this, I had to actually cancel the print. The first one was not sticking well to the plate, even though I had freshly cleaned it right before I started this print. So I stopped that one because this Grinch ripped off of it completely, and I cleaned the plate again. And the second one did this. This one was sticking to the plate slightly better, but it was printing out all lumpy and bumpy, and it was coming out a total mess. So I stopped that print, and I looked at all of the print settings in the profile, and I finally figured out what the issue was, at least in my case, trying to print this on the H2D. So the print profile for this was set to print at 0.1 millimeter. I ended up changing my layer height to 0.2 millimeters and printing it out again. And this time it worked beautifully. However, I definitely recommend printing this using inner and outer brims. That way it ensures that this sticks to the print plate the entire time. What happened on mine is that toward the end of the print, when it was just working on the headband portion here, this side of it started lifting off of the plate again. So I do have this print line across this side of my headband, but that's because it was lifting up off of the plate. So had I put the inner and outer brims on this, I wouldn't have this little imperfection line. So that was just an issue on my printer, but I definitely do recommend using inner and outer brims on this one to get it to print out perfectly. There is this really cool detail on the headband here where there are these little tiny Grinch faces with little Santa hats engraved into the band. Very cute. Nice little detail touch. There are also these little tiny teeth lining the inside of the headband, which is awesome because that helps it to keep from sliding off of your head. Plus, this is totally adorable, and I'm definitely wearing this holiday season. Next up is my Grinch welcome sign. This file is by Fresh Designs, and it was featured on one of my live prints. So if you're interested in seeing how this printed out on the printer, I have a video for that. I also did a live stream of this door corner printing if you haven't checked that one out either. It was oddly satisfying watching this one get printed actually, because it looks almost identical on the front as it does the back. It's just written backwards. This was printed on my H2D as it does require an AMS. This print took just over 2 hours and it used 49 grams of filament. I love how clean this design is. This print came out really crisp. This particular file has holes on the corners here so that I can put a ribbon or a string or something and then hang this on a door. There is also a file that does not have the holes on it if you want to use a 3M hanger or just leave this sitting somewhere. You can also do that without having these little holes in it if you don't want them. I did print this sign in PLA and it is a bit on the thin side, so I am definitely not going to be putting this outdoors. I don't want it to warp or fade, especially where it is really cold now. So I don't want this one to get damaged. This is definitely an indoor sign. If you want this to be outside, like on your front door, I definitely recommend printing this in PETG. That way you won't get the fading and the warping quite as quickly as you will with the PLA. So there's my Grinchy welcome sign. Next up, I have this really fun Grinch kit card. This file is by Designs by Markham. It took just over 3 hours to print and used 55 grams of filament. This one also does require the use of an AMS. This little kit card could be a fun little project for you or your kids. It also, if you have a big enough stocking, might be a good stocking stuffer. The assembly on this does not require any super glue, so let's get to it. First up, we need to free all of these pieces from the card. So all of these little green connectors snap off of the pieces, and it will be easier if I use my little wire snips to get these all free. You can kind of twist them like the old kit cards that you could get for assembling little model kits. But just to make these super clean, I'm going to use my wire cutters and get all of the little burrs off. Now that we have all of the little pieces free of the card, let's do this assembly. First up, we are going to take this arm with the post on it and slide it through the Grinch's body right here, where there's a hole for the post. And we snap his left arm on as well. So there we have his arms, very cute. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing with his legs. We are gonna put his left leg with the post through the bottom of his body. Again, that's a nice snug fit. Then we're gonna slide his other leg onto the other side of the post, like so. Very cute. Then we are going to use these little tiny base connectors. There are little notches here and there are little notches in the base connectors. So we just slide those together, just like that. And then we're gonna put the other connector on the top. This also has the notches cut out, so they just slide together. Make sure that you have them lined up correctly. So the back end is short and the front end is longer before and after the notches. So these slide together, just like that. No super glue, super easy to put together. You just clip the pieces out of the little kit card, snap them all together, and you are ready to go. You have this adorable little freestanding Grinch decoration. Next up is this Grinchy keychain. This file is by Dano98 and does not require an AMS. So if you don't have an AMS, you are in luck. Each of these pieces prints out on a plate by color. So you have one plate for the green pieces, one plate for your white pieces, one plate for the little pupils for the eyes, and one plate for your hat. To speed up the printing process for this, I printed different pieces on my H2D, an X1 carbon, and also an A1 mini. So my total print time for this was just over half an hour because I did everything all at the same time. But if I print each of the plates individually, the total print time is just over 1 hour. And this uses 17 grams of filament. This one does require a little bit of assembly with some super glue. So for this one, I'm gonna use some miter apple CA glue with the activator spray just to make the process go a little bit faster. And if there are any white residue marks from the activator spray, I can use some sort of cooking oil like olive oil or canola oil to get rid of the white marks on the outside of this print, should there be any when I'm done. First, there is this little triangular cutout in the top of the Grinch's head, and there is a little triangular shaped peg that is going to fit into this hole here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of super glue. And then I'm going to put the peg into this triangular shaped hole. There we go. The hat also has a triangular shaped hole if you remove the supports that are inside of it. So this will match up on here. Now, the triangle is genius because you cannot mess up the alignment. So his hat, when you're looking at him, is supposed to go to the right. You can't mess it up and put it on the other way because the triangle won't line up. I'm gonna put a little bit of super glue here. I'm gonna try and avoid the edges just so that I don't have any glue leaking out. And I'm gonna put his hat on like so. Motherfucker. Did I seriously just do that? Well, he is definitely not supposed to look like that. I forgot to add the bottom part of his hat. So, I'm gonna go reprint that. Let's try this again, shall we? You didn't see that. First off, there is this lovely little triangle cut out in the Grinch's head. And there is this little tiny triangular peg. So I'm gonna put some glue in here and put the peg in the Grinch's head. So the peg is in there. So next we are going to put the bottom of the hat onto the Grinch's head. So this side is a little bit thicker than this side. And when you're looking at the Grinch, you want the thicker side to be on the right side of his face. There is this cutout in the bottom here, which is a triangle that matches up, so you can't really mess up the alignment here. That is a very snug fit. So I'm gonna hold this part down and spray it with the activator spray. And there we have the bottom of his hat. Now when we put the red part on, again, it has a triangle cutout and there is a triangular peg on the base of the hat here. So when you put the hat on, you're gonna want it to be pointing to the Grinch's right side of his face when you're looking at it. So I'm gonna put some glue on here. All right, spray it with the activator spray. Nice. There we have his hat. Now we have to do the pom-pom. So I'm just gonna put some glue on the inside here. And we shove that on the end of the hat, like so. I'm gonna spray that with the activator. That way it stays in place. Next up, we are going to do his eyes. So there are these tiny little white sections, and then the black pupils are separate. Maker World has said to put the white part in first and then use tweezers to gently push the pupils into the eyes. So that is what I'm going to do. I am just going to make sure that all of the support material is off of the white part of these before I put them on the Grinch. These were printed with brims so that they stayed adhered to the plate during printing, and I just want to make sure that all of the little edges of those brims are gone before I try and put the pupils in there. So his eyes are wider on the outside and they taper toward the inside. So you're going to want to make sure that you're using the white pieces with wider on the correct side, and the tapered part goes towards the middle of his head. And because these are so tiny, I am going to use some tweezers. That will help me get these in place exactly where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to put some glue on the backs of these and then put them in. Get these pupils in there. There we have one eye. I'm gonna be honest, these eyes are not the easiest. All right, let's try the second one here. There we have his eyes. I am not gonna lie, putting those eyes in was not the easiest. So this is definitely not something that a kid could put together very easily. But when it's together, this is really cute. So the last bit of this keychain project is to add the keychain. So I have this chain that I bought. It has the little locking mechanism. So I'm gonna take one of the little clasps and I'm gonna cut a piece of this chain to make it into a keychain. Let's see, how long do I want it? That should be good. I'm gonna use my wire cutters here. You can get this chain on Amazon. It's also at Walmart and local craft stores. So you just put the last little ball on the chain inside the clasp and slide it in. So now that side's attached. And then you just thread it through the hole in the Grinch's hat here. And then clip the other side into the clasp. The nice part is you can adjust this chain. You can make it longer or shorter with your wire snips if you need to. And there we go. We have a Grinchy keychain. Last but not least, we have this Grinch wall mount. This file is by Stag 3D, and you can print this without the use of an AMS. This one was printed on my X1 Carbon. I did end up encasing both of these in normal supports because I wanted to make sure that they printed out well. This one took 11 hours to print and used 385 grams of filament. There is a profile specifically for non-AMS printing, which is great because there's only the one filament change. So when it's done printing the red, you swap out the red for the white filament and you're ready to go. So there's not a lot of waste on this print to begin with, which is really nice. There is even a print profile for a decorative hole in the wall if you want to add a little bit of depth to this. So the little hand, we're gonna glue in here. It has this nice little cutout here for a nail so that you can hang this on the wall. Then you can hang whatever you want from the Grinch's hand here. So in my case, I am probably going to just use a red Christmas ornament bulb like he does in the movie. He holds it like that. But you can hang whatever you want from here. And this just hangs on your wall and is a cute Grinchy decoration. Let's glue this hand in place. And again, I'm gonna use the miter apple with the activator spray because this part's white, so I don't think we need to worry about the activator spray leaving marks. And if it leaves marks on the green part, then I will just use some oil and clean it up. The hand slides right in here, and that is it. And there you have it, a super cute Grinchy wall hanger. Hopefully these prints melted any Grinchy hearts out there. I love how fun, easy, and festive all of these prints were, and they don't take up a lot of space in my decoration bin. Just make sure that you glue the keychain together in the right order, or he'll look like Scrooge McGrinch. That's gonna do it for this episode. If you enjoyed all of this Grinchy mischief, please consider liking and subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you know when my new videos drop. If you know anybody who's into these kind of videos, please share with them. Help me grow my channel. I appreciate it. Some of these Grinchy prints are available on my Etsy shop, and I just put up some original artwork, so be sure to check that out. There is a new basketball reaction video poll up, so get those votes in. Tune in for my next video. Happy holidays, and I will see you on the next one.